Shad's Rants! Hello everyone and welcome to Shad's Rants. This is the first setup for episode, and have I got a doozy of a one for you. So I got to take you to do something really cool over the weekend, and even before the weekend started. On Friday, I got to see Big Boy Locomotive 4014 roll through my neighborhood. And boy, was that a sight. In fact, let's just have a quick look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? I mean, the sound, the looks, everything would just seem really cool. Because it is. It's freaking awesome. I've been a kid who liked trains. And still as an adult, I still think steam locomotives are probably the best thing that ever happened. I mean, seriously, for their size, even the smaller ones had a lot of raw horsepower. Compare that to a lot of stuff that we have today for trains, it's like, yeah, they might be fascinating, but they don't measure up as far as, like, the cool factor. Just in my opinion. Now, I really have to ask, are people insane or are they just stupid these days? I mean, maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just because my dad pounded into my head since I could barely walk and talk. He pounded into my head this whole thing about safety. Like, oh, hey, make sure you don't do this, stupid. Otherwise, you ain't gonna live long. That might be why I don't have a DUI. That might be why I don't have a criminal record. It just might be why I don't have a lot of things. Good in my opinion, but, take it for what it is. It's that whole safety shit that's kept me alive. There's one thing I just don't get about safety. Why in the fuck are things now coming with warning labels? Like when you go to a store and you see a hair curler, right? One of those curling irons. Why do they have to come now with a label that says, for external use only? Gee, I found it in the hair section. Where the fuck am I supposed to find it, huh? Is that going to be in the Planned Parenthood section of a Walmart? I don't fucking think so. So what has this got to do with me seeing the locomotive? Well, let me go ahead and put it like this. Anywhere where you went to see, anywhere where this locomotive was being talked about. In fact, you even go to the Twitter page. There's a whole big thing about safety from the engineer who's driving this thing himself. Saying, hey, stand 25 feet away from the tracks because there's no way you can stop these things on a dime. And let me explain this. A modern diesel is well within the low hundreds of tons. Like, let's just say for round numbers and for easy figuring's sake, it's about 100 tons of steel and whatnot. Big Boy is not only 132 feet long, which is like, what, twice the size of any modern diesel, but it's also 1.2 million pounds, which is like 635 tons. So, what do you think's going to hurt more? Getting hit by 100 tons of steel or getting hit by 6 times that amount, roughly? It's still going to hurt either way, but still. Yeah, also depends on the speed of it, I think, when you get hit. And what's that got to do with anything? Well, if I hadn't seen the stupidest thing ever, this was it. Some guy is trying to entertain his kids because they're getting impatient. They want to see the choo-choo. Okay, I got no problems with that. But this is where stupid really shined through on that day. The guy is walking along with his 2 kids who are no older than 10 years old each, 1 boy, 1 girl, and they're just strolling down the track. The guy and his boy are on the outside of the track, off to one side of the rails, while the little girl's just skimping down between the rails, picking up rocks between the ties, and just trying to skip them like it's a frickin' lake. Then, here's where the really stupid began. It took, I don't know how many different people, but I at least counted 5 times. 5 freaking times that some person or the same person told this moron of a guy, hey, get the hell off the tracks. Because there was no way to know when this steam engine is coming through. Okay? And by the way, there's a good reason why I brought up this whole thing about, the weight and everything. Because if you have ever been driving in slick conditions, you might notice something. A car can stop easier in rain than, say, a truck, semi-truck, bus, etc., etc. Now, that's because of the weight. A modern diesel takes about 1.5 miles, I believe, to come to a full stop. What do you think a 635-ton steam engine is going to be able to take it to? I'm going to guess that, it might take 5 miles for it to stop. Just my guess. Just my educated guess. Maybe it might be more, but that's besides the point. So what the hell you think it's going to hurt more if, say, little girl couldn't, had some little fault. She trips on something and can't get up in time to... Yeah, I don't think he'd be too happy about that, having to go home and explain to his wife, hey, honey, well, we saw the train. That was the good news. Here's the bad news. Little Susie didn't make it. No, I let her play up on the train track, and then next thing you know, that sumbitch just came roaring through, and we tried to get her out in time, but her shoelace got stuck on one of them railroad ties, and next thing you know, well, she's kind of flat now. Yeah. So needless to say, this just might be me, and I don't try to be a safety nut, but I at least try to know enough to go, that's a good idea, that's a bad idea, and that is a really bad idea. So, yeah, that is my little rant, because I can't believe how stupid some people can be. That's my whole point right there. Anyways, with that being said, I am Shad. This has been Shad's Rants. See you guys in the next one. And stay fluffy, my friends. And don't get hurt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is true beauty.